StockMentor.com. I'm here in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson. First order of business, Victoria. Yes, if you are listening to this, you sent me an email questioning or having questions about the mentoring course. I tried to send you some information back, and it was undeliverable. So you might have put in the wrong email address for me. If you would please send me another email, that'd be great. Send it to info, I-N-F-O, at thestockmentor.com. That would be great, and just include your email address again for me. I'll get that information to you. You are new to trading, and I think a conversation is definitely in order. I think for new traders, people that have never traded before, wow, I mean, the value of the education is amazing. I commend you for actually looking for an education. Most people want to jump into the markets thinking they can do it by themselves, and then after they blow a bunch of money, they either A, don't have any more money to trade, or B, then decide that, okay, now maybe with this next round of cash, I might want to get an education about how to do all of this. So I commend you for actually looking into it first before you start losing a bunch of money in the markets and finding out the hard way. So please send me your email address, and we'll get that information to you. And we did get a move back up today by the bulls. It was for one of the indices, the SPX, which did very well today. Pretty decent overall. Even the NASDAQ, of course, being the stronger of the indices as it was yesterday. Dow Jones being the lagger, which is what we commonly see within the markets. But the bears having their opportunity and having actually done, we're going to talk about this, a pretty decent job during the course of the week to drag this market down. Gave up a little bit towards the end of the week. I'm still in a very neutral stance. We did have some opportunities at some day trades to the long side today. But overall, really still in a very neutral position here coming into the start of next week. So let's take a quick look and see what we saw over the week itself. Remember, kind of ignore the volume stuff on the dailies and weeklies and whatnot, especially on the weeklies, to be quite honest. Don't get wrapped up in that. We only had a 4-day week. So we didn't trade all 5 days. Yes, the volume's going to look like it was a little smaller on the larger time frames, but for good reason. Just keep that in the back of your mind. We're still in a very, I'd say more neutral position right here, but I do like what the bears accomplished. Looking over some of these today, and let's just take a look at what the bears did actually manage to do. They actually got this thing down quite a distance before that first bounce finally came. And you can see the bounce, which kind of appeared to be kind of a major, if you will, bounce today, really wasn't all that major once we look at the bigger picture. It's a very shallow bounce for the time being. Obviously, we're looking for follow-through coming into next week, but let's just focus on what we see here in front of us, and that is a very decent move by the bears. Down to, let's round it up, about 12,000. From about 12,400. The 400-point move is a pretty decent move considering it came in the span of about 2 days. Over 3 days total, about 2.5 if you want to split hairs there. But we had 2 days down, then kind of a half a day where we did this, and then we started to bounce. Today, back up another 62 points in the Dow, but not all that major in the bigger picture. And you can see 1, 2 closes below the 20-day. Now a third close below the 20-day. Just on the Dow. I think the other indices did a fairly little bit better. So once again, the Dow being the laggard, I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on that. But the point is, it did hold below that 20 for at least the end of the week. So you can see the move down by the bears. Now we're looking for this more neutral position. Are we going to climb our way back up, or are we going to fall back down coming into early next week? I'm not sold on either one yet. So here we had the NASDAQ, 1, 2, 3, potential ABC for a 4 with a 5 to the downside, looking for the breaks lower to see if that would actually resolve itself. Did not. Gap up today, got above the 200, so we had marks here for a short and here for a long, got our long opportunities today, and we're able to play it for a few points, not much. You can see, even though the markets were up today, 1.5% on the NDX, we did not have a ton of movement once we got kind of through the beginning of the day. The first 2 hours of the day were really as far as the market went. After that, it wandered sideways for a while. So not a lot of trading to be done after that initial push up by the markets. And you can see on a daily, 23.46.29, 23.45.79, okay, like a half a point. I don't split hairs in this case. Is it above? Yes, technically it is above the 20, but it's at, on, below, whatever. I mean, somebody sneezed and pushed the wrong button and it got it back above. It's so close. I'm not going to, like I said, split hairs about that. We will watch these overhead levels. We'll have some new lines for you this weekend to watch coming into the new week, but you can see the damage was done. Look, we got all the way back to the 50-day moving average on the NASDAQ. So each dip gets a little bit lower. I'm not sold on telling you, yep, we're definitely going to new highs, and I'm not yet ready to tell you, oh no, we're crashing to new lows. This market has us in a very neutral place right here. And coming into the new week, it does make for difficult trading, both long and short. We can get into a little kind of a sideways motion here, and it'll make it very tough for everybody from Ellioticians to just technical analysis people. At this point, you'll see what I do this weekend, kind of giving us larger areas of support and resistance to watch as we head into next week. From the weekly too, this is why I love to wait until the weeklies are done. I'm just never sure where these things will end. With the giant push up today at the end, the NASDAQ weekly, still, not a lot of damage done here by the end of the week. We never made it back to these lower areas of support. And we ended up with, if you want to call that a hammer, okay. Once again, I'm not going to mince about what this could or could not be. I guess it wouldn't be a hammer. It'd be a hanging man, maybe, if you want to call it. I don't care. Anyway, the point is we made a very hard push in the last day and a half to get it back to where it's at right now. So we're still, once again, very neutral. There's nothing really to glean from this. Now, SPX, little different story. And I'm trying to get some information on the sectors for the week, and I haven't gotten any updates yet. So usually have those immediately, but not now. So it is what it is. That's okay. We did get pushes back up and above the 13.10, 13.15 area for my subscribers. They had been told basically above 13.10 or 13.12 for a long today. Not much to even pull out of that, to be quite honest. And we never broke any of the we didn't break some of these overhead resistance areas on the 60-minute, but we did get back up and above the 20-day moving average on the SPX. So had a few closes here, good push to the downside. This was a 50-point move when it was all said and done. It just didn't hold by the end of the week. Now we're back up into this 13.20, watching for some more overhead resistance up in this area coming into early next week. And now we're waiting to see if this thing will wander sideways for a few days. Are we going to get some motion next week? I'm still very neutral once again. Point being, bulls did not allow the bears to finish necessarily strong at the end of this week. VIX daily coming right back down too. Now, good and bad. Bad, we're kind of, once again, VIX up, now crashing back down again. Good, because it did hold above this channel we had been watching for a while. We're still above this 19/20 area. I really like to see the VIX hold here. Even if it can wander sideways, that's fine. But you can see, once again, from a weekly perspective, violent push up only leads to another violent push down within the VIX, and not long afterwards. These violent push ups only last a very short amount of time before it seems fear starts to come back out of the markets again. Apple 60 made a nice recovery today. Here it was, looking like the NASDAQ potential 1, maybe 2 here, then this is probably a 3, 4, 5 if you want to count it. I don't care. But overall, we were consolidating sideways, looking for pushes this way, pushes this way. We got pushes that way. So anything above this area and through here, 345-ish, 346-ish, whatever, 347, were still good trades to the upside. Didn't move a ton after that first 60 minutes, and you can see we did not make the 20-day moving average, coming right back into and resting at overhead resistance here. So still nothing really strong from Apple quite yet. These pushes to the downside did a lot of damage to this stock. This is why it's going to be very, this will be something to watch. Do we wander sideways? Can they finally make a break? Do we get back above the 20? That'll be my first area to watch coming into next week. And from a weekly, we did close back below this line. Still my overhead, more major resistance line for in the sand for Apple. FAS got this good push. My entries on this one were above 31, back into the 32 mark, and we did see a break above 31 on the gap up, right back into and closing at 32.02. So this actually ended up working out perfectly today. If you'd been following along from yesterday, this trade worked out well. I said above 31 probably takes us back to test the 20-day, and that's actually exactly what we got. We got as high as 32.11 with the 20 at 32.15. So missed it by 4 cents. But still, you can see the value in understanding where and why these stocks move the way they move. In this case today worked out very, very well. We had the 50 hold over the last couple days, and now the 20's holding, still stuck in this consolidation to the side. And you can see here, same type of thing. We held the 200 yesterday, but when you can't beat it, gap it. Saw it today. We got that move back below $40. Once again, FAZ has had its prices changed. They revalued it, so now it's not an $8, $9 stock. It's now a $40 stock. You can see today that makes for larger moves within the market. So a 4% move in the market is now, maybe a couple bucks. Before it was like a few cents, which is very frustrating. However, the push is still back down, and we are now back below the 20-day moving average. I told you yesterday, just not quite sold on some of this stuff. Look at some of these overhead areas to be broken today. We didn't get it, obviously. Now back below the 20. So the bleeding might not be over. We'll be watching these levels here coming into next week. If we can get some bullish action out of the FAZ, or more importantly, bearish action out of the markets, we can see this thing finally break above here. And I think we could break this overhead line as well and make for some good headway. But I'm just not sold on it quite yet. But we will talk more about that this weekend. Okay, you guys have a great weekend. I'll be back with you again on Sunday. Just a note of business again. Victoria, you sent me an email yesterday, and I tried to send you one back, and it keeps coming back as undeliverable. I've tried from different email accounts, and I can't get it through to you, so maybe you put your email address in wrong. Would you please write me again and tell me what your email address is? I would really appreciate it. I'll get you that email on the mentoring back to you then. All right, see you guys this weekend. Bye.